taking inappropriate response, throwing down the Baneling's nest, and we'll see whether or not this can hold up against Gimpy's all-in Marine rush at this point. Now, sometimes, you know, I think if Gimpy really was going to go all-in at this point, he could bring some of his SCVs off with him, which would absorb some of the damage, prevent some of the Marines from dying right away, and really go on here. But Gimpy, I think, going to try to do multiple waves with these Marines. I think one of the more interesting things about this strategy is because he has the 6 barracks, he can constantly keep that Marine pressure going at a faster, you know, and just really stream these guys in. SQB looking like morphing his Banelings in, looking like he's going to lose his expansion right now. So Gimpy doing a lot of damage right now to SQB's economy, and even when SQB, who's going to definitely wipe out these Marine forces, it looks like Gimpy's going to have enough. It's going to all of them going down at once, and Gimpy definitely losing all his Marines, but he still has 12, and he's pumping out a ton more. And so we'll see whether or not SQB can recover from this. I think knowing that this build exists and knowing that some players might go for it, you know, from a Zergling side, possibly having scouted that a little bit, he had scouted that a little bit earlier, possibly throwing down the Baneling's nest a little bit earlier, or possibly throwing down maybe a few more spine crawlers, you know, definitely would have held that off effectively. But you know, part of this is the surprise from seeing that 6 racks, not really realizing the power of like this massive Marine army. And I think the other thing too is that there is a timing window for this push. Gimpy has said that he's tried it several times, used it across several races, and you know, part of the timing window is getting it out right around the 6-minute mark, right when you think that your opponent might be morphing Banelings or against Terran, getting his fast siege tank down, because you know a siege tank, turtled siege tank, should stop this pretty effectively. On the Protoss side, you know, this works pretty well against the 4-gate. If your 4-gate opponent really doesn't have enough sentries to kind of choke it off, and even with the sentries, there has to be a significant amount of micro to split the Marine forces up so that you can kind of take away some of the fire. We've seen on a higher level, on a top level, we've seen players like Mask use builds similar to this. Can be actually doing a little bit of micro there and able to have the Banelings not destroy his entire army like last time. We've seen higher level players. I think the Muslin had builds like this similar, where he would use a lot of early Marine pressure to push, and recently Mask has been getting a lot of highlights where he does a fast expand, throws down 3 to 4 more barracks, depending on what his opponent is doing, and really runs in and kind of is able to at least do a expansion bust with just a whole bunch of Marines. Mask usually runs in some SCVs in there too, just to kind of absorb some of the fire, and really micros it pretty well. Beating Mask's strategy, I think I've seen Tester kind of really use sentries to split up the Marine army really effectively and trap them in so that he can get free shots on them with his stalkers and other sentries too. But you know, I think part of it is that you really have to kind of be able to I guess anticipate what your opponent is doing, and in this case, even SQV, I think playing a pretty decent game, is able to anticipate, was able to scout, but just I think underestimated the power of the all-in Marine cheese. And right now, SQV not looking good for him. Not looking good for him at all. Losing his spawning pool, and now we're going to see some. There we go. The Zerg rage. I think SQV looking up to Hydra possibly. Let's see if he can dish out any more of the rage. Gimpy telling him that he had 6 Raxes. Probably not that big of a difference to SQV at this point. But yeah, there you go. And definitely can, in a best of 3, if you pull this out, if you decide to pull this out, you can definitely get some rage going into your opponent, and Gimpy telling him that he scouted it. So definitely a potentially dangerous build to go up against, and good to know that that these builds exist. If you do scout it, if you don't see the gas, and you are able to see the massive SQV with some more Hydra like rage in there. Oh, there you go, and I think it's popular now. Not a big fan of that raid, but well, there you go. The 6 racks, all in Marine push. Gimpy even expanding and not taking any gas at all. So something to watch out for in case you get cheesed by it. But something to possibly have in your arsenal to cheese once in a while if you really want to try to piss off your opponents and just take him over with a 1 base all bio push. So another commentary by JCS Starcraft, and signing off.